Welcome to Wild Questions. I'm Sabbath Kapahu, and this is the moment we take to have the conversations we know are important, but we don't always talk about. This is about the stories that matter behind the questions that we ask. And I'm joined by my friend, colleague, and CEO of WiLD Leaders, Dr. Rob McKenna. Today, we are talking about leading a fun team based on our topic for this Friday's Wild Conversation. I've gotten a chance to hear a tiny bit of just a taste of what's happening for this Friday. Dr. McKenna, give us just a little nibble of what's happening for the Wild Conversation on Friday.
All
How
right.
do we lead a fun team?
How do we leave a fun team? Oh, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Um, First of all, I think it's really fun that I can hear roosters in the background.
The sun has just risen here in Hilo, Hawaii, which I have to say doesn't actually matter because the roosters have no idea what time of day it is. They will make noise all throughout the day.
They're like, it's fun, work's fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make noise. Okay. All right. So let me give it little taste for Friday. I hope people will come. It sounds like a leading a fun team, but how often do we talk about this and get into the deeper story of what that means? Like, what does it mean to lead a fun team? So here's the little taste of this is leading a fun team isn't about offsites, skydiving trips together, and cringy jokes before or after hours where actual work is happening. Leading a fun team is about making the work enjoyable, amusing, lighthearted, and even entertaining as the hard work is being done. And we often think that leading a fun team is about bolting fun onto our team after hours, outside of the work, but it's not. Leading a fun team is about making the hard work energizing, entertaining, and literally fun. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I was listening to you share about what it means to lead a fun team. We've been talking through this as a team this week. We just had our in-person week together last week, which was no fun at all. And what I was thinking about was we're serious about getting work done. Like
Mhm.
having a fun team doesn't mean that the serious work goes out the door, but it also means that we're serious about what we do and we realize that we're flawed humans, that we're not going to take ourselves so seriously to realize or to think that we're not going to make mistakes and we can't laugh at ourselves along the way. And I think that's something when we talk about leading a fun team, like you mentioned, we think about what happens after hours and what we bring into the work, the team, the people, the environment that could make it fun, instead of thinking about the people that actually are creating an atmosphere or a culture that says, hey, we can laugh at ourselves. This is serious work. And also, we're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
So let's enjoy the journey along the way.
Yeah.
So I'm
And
excited
I
to hear you dive deeper
yeah.
into that.
Well, and it's that whole thing about I think it is difficult to have fun if we don't laugh at ourselves a bit. And I think laughing at ourselves isn't like I'm silly and that's all I am, but it's like you were describing, um, this awareness that we screw things up. And once we're aware of that, it actually is kind of funny. There's this reality that if it's people who maybe kind of either hiding that or are not willing to own that. Gosh, it seems like it's so critical for having a good time. But the other thing you mentioned that we're going to talk about on Friday as well is what I describe as missional productivity. And there are those who think that that performance and enjoyment are two separate issues, and it's just not true. That it's I think it's difficult to have fun if we're not performing, and I think it's difficult to perform if we're not having fun. So what does it look like to actually think about fun within the rhythms of the actual work? And so many leaders that I know think about doing fun things outside of the work, but we're talking about something different where this actually would be enjoyable. And not that we aren't going to have to do hard work and work that like is not fun at times. But at the same time, if we created fun as a non-negotiable, what would that look like? Yeah, a non-negotiable alongside let's perform and do what we do as well as anyone in the world and enjoy it while we do it.
Yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
primer. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
So join us Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And if you are in a different time zone, um, you can still join us. We will be wherever you can find WiLD Leaders. You can find the link to join the WiLD conversation, and it'll show up in your inbox, ready to go on Friday. Dr. McKenna, it's going to be a good conversation. It's going to be leading a fun team the WiLD way, which we know is a little bit unconventional. And we're going
Mhm.
to end our time together with a WiLD question. So I'm going to pick from our deck
Okay.
of WiLD questions. I haven't primed us for this. So this is a question that we are going to think about as we go throughout our day. Oh, I love this one. What would change if you were surrounded by cheerleaders, mentors, and people who give it to you straight?
Hmm.
Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll see you on Friday.